My name is Ian. I'm a filmmaker. I used to work on an Antarctic research base, and while I was there, I saw a movie called Tree of Sugar. The filmmaker, Buck Rodriguez, according to my fellow researchers, was killed and carried off by a bald eagle while he was at the grocery store. It wasn't just a tragedy. It was a true American tragedy. And when I got back home to America, I couldn't believe that nobody had heard of his movie, Tree of Sugar. I later found out that he was still alive. And now, I'm looking for the Tree of Sugar man. Buck Rodriguez.
Buck Rodriguez was a huge hit in Antarctica. You look at any Antarctic scientist movie collection, you see a copy of Boring Ice Cores, Dealing with Penguins, and Tree of Sugar.
Buck Rodriguez really changed the way that we view documentaries. As researchers on an Antarctic base, researching around the clock, our entertainment options were very limited. So when we found Tree of Sugar in Antarctica, we were blown away. Where there would be spots where we would expect narration, there would be no narration. It would be silent for minutes at a time. I'm serious. Really. Totally quiet. Just like this.
They say the story of how Tree of Sugar ended up in Antarctica goes like this. The only shipment Buck ever ordered of his movie crashed into the southern oceanic currents of the Arctic that eventually dragged the air-locked chamber of VHS tapes to Antarctica, where groups of nomadic polar bears mistook it for a stubbornly dead seal that promised to be especially delicious if only they could open it. They dragged the box along for a while until they were fought off by a group of scientists that would eventually break open the chest for themselves and discover and distribute its precious contents amongst all of Antarctican researchers.
I heard he buried his head in the sand after a particularly bad showing of his movie, Tree of Sugar. But the probability that he's still alive is very high. And so if you're looking for him, you should probably go look in the United States. I decided to take the search back to the States. So I went around and knocked on some doors. But it didn't yield any results. I got depressed. When I get depressed, I usually watch Tree of Sugar. So how I actually found Buck was totally by accident. I was watching Tree of Sugar, and I noticed a certain part that I hadn't noticed before.
I'm Buck Rodriguez, and I'm from New York.
See, so much of Buck's movie had been so cryptic, I assumed that he meant this in some figurative sense. And so, figuring that maybe he meant it literally, I had a new lead. So I went to New York, and I asked some of the locals if they knew about Buck.
You know, I saw this book fella once in the park, but I'm pretty sure it was actually just my mother.
Buck Rodriguez? Yeah, I seen him. He's a real street spirit, that guy. He's a real misty fella. He comes and goes. I don't know where he lays, though. I don't even know if he's got a home. You know?
No, yeah. You know, there was this one time I definitely saw him. I was out for some coffee, and... Oh. That was just my mother. Oh, Bug Rodriguez's Tree of Sugar. It's our family's favorite movie. It taught me the way I treat my children. He lives just down the street.
I did it. I found him. I thought that was the best of it, but then I got him for an interview.
Buck, some people say you killed yourself. Some people say you got carried off by an eagle at the age of 5, or you buried your head in the sand after a really bad showing of Tree of Sugar. How do you respond to that?
Son, I don't care.
Were you disappointed when Tree of Sugar didn't take off in America?
Son, there's no guarantees in the documentary business.
Tell us about some of the brilliance of your movie, of Tree of Sugar. I mean, people are going crazy about it. What were you thinking when you made it?
Well, some people think that my movie's about parenting. But really, I just took like a formula, like from a horse movie, let's say Seabiscuit. And then I added 30 minutes of complete silence. No dialogue. Empty.
Are you surprised that you're bigger than Steven Spielberg in Antarctica?
I don't know how to respond to that.
I started the movie with a question. Where is Buck Rodriguez? And my answer was, I have no idea. Probably dead. By the end of the movie, I found him. And I still had the question, where is Buck? Only now, the answer was probably somewhere in New York.